welcome to my YouTube channel again. I'm back again with my goofy self, doing the things. Um, so my name is Smiley Face, and tonight it's just me and Teddy, as always. It doesn't sound that sad, does it? I hope it doesn't sound as sad as it is in my head, because it's clearly not. It's honestly not that sad. That it's just me and Teddy. I love his company, right? Love your company, right? Anyways, today's discussion is about marriage and what I believe in and where my stand is when it comes to marriage and quite a few things that surround marriage. I didn't really grow up in a setup where both of my parents were together. I didn't really understand. Okay, they were together. One was younger, and then they got divorced when I began to understand the importance of having both parents in a family. Because I experienced my uh, puberty when it was just me and my dad, and he didn't know how to handle it, and I felt uncomfortable about it. But my dad's always been my biggest supporter. It took me a while to understand that. I felt uncomfortable about going through such a stage, and I felt embarrassed, but he's always been my biggest supporter. And shout out to you, old man. Yeah, he set up the standards for all these. Maybe you're gonna see this, so maybe I shouldn't say it. Anyways, my parents, I've got one sibling. His name is Tabo. It's just me and my little brother. So our parents divorced when we were younger, and before that, they never really lived together. You know, everybody worked where they worked, and then would meet for holidays and funerals and weddings and stuff. So I never really got to understand the importance of having both parents and living under the same roof and all of that. I don't really remember much, but we did live together when we were in Gaps, shortly after my dad came back from the UK and my mom from South Africa. For a little while, we lived together, which honestly I don't remember much. Okay, I remember bits and pieces, but yeah. Anyways, our parents divorced when we were younger, and for a long time I felt like they owed me an explanation. Like they had to sit me down and tell me they're sorry, yada 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 yada. Cause this girl watches too many movies. Kante doesn't work like that, bro. It doesn't work like that. You wake up one day and people are like, "Your mom is no longer coming here." I'm like, what does that even mean? My mom owns this place, you know. So for a long time, I had attitude. I had bad behaviors because I wanted to. I felt like they owed me a lot of explanation, which is wrong. So I was bitter. I was bitter for a long time, and I have an amazing stepmom whew, it was rough in the beginning. It was rough. All because of me and my attitude and my mentality. But if it was not for that, she is the greatest. She's always supporting us and she's always out there for us. Always. Yeah. Um, so for a long time, because of my experience and not really knowing what it felt like to be married or having a better example of my parents as married, I kind of told myself that I was okay with not being married. Like I didn't want to get married. So what I did was when I got in relationships and they got a little too serious and people started taking babies and stuff, I just like, that's my cue to leave because girl. I just didn't want to end up with somebody and I'm stuck there with a baby and married and 2 years later we're divorced. So my biggest fear was that I was probably gonna go through the same road as my parents, you know. We had don't get me wrong, me and my little brother had a wonderful upbringing, you know. It was it was either me, my mom and it was either me and my mom or me, my mom and my little brother, you know. So they both raised us as best as they could and we are wonderful grown-ups because of them. We are where we are because of both of our parents because they honestly try to give us a better life and lead us to better opportunities despite whatever differences they might have been going through. And honestly, it takes a lot for a parent to deal with what they're dealing with a separate life and then have to deal with their kids as well. It takes a lot. So shout out to my parents because my parents are my biggest supporters and I can't imagine what life would be if I was raised by anybody else. Anyways, back to the topic. I keep losing myself. Yeah, marriage. I didn't believe in marriage, you know, and it took me going back to my creator, going back to the person who created me, for me to realize that the reason I kept on telling myself I was okay with not being married was because I had a lot of fear, I had a lot of anger in my heart. You know, it took a lot of healing for me. Excuse me. It took a lot of healing for me to finally come out and say, you know what? I actually do want marriage. I actually do want to be married and I want my kids to grow up in such a setup. You know, it took a while and the girl wants to get married, the girl wants kids and marriage. Yeah, yeah. So, um, so if I do meet the right guy and him and I are best friends and he wants to marry me, I'll go for it anytime. You know, as long as it's for the right reasons. I believe that everybody deserves marriage. Okay, that everybody deserves marriage is debatable. If I'm talking about it from God's perspective, everybody does deserve marriage. But in general, I think marriage is not for everybody. Just like being a boss is not for everybody, just like being an employee is not for everybody, just like being smart, being a top achiever is not for everybody. There are people that will work so hard and study so hard but will never be top achievers. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but that's how life is. That's how division of life is. So, with that note, I do want to get married, but if I don't end up getting married, I'm still okay with it. You know, I'd like to live my life as happy as I can. So if I dated somebody and he wanted to marry me in the end, then that's wonderful. And if I don't date or I don't end up dating at all or I don't end up married at all, I'm still okay with it. You know, so that's the thing with life. If you keep your life in a certain road and you have certain expectations, when you don't get them, you tend to fight yourself. You don't fight anybody, you fight yourself and your inner man, you know, and that usually takes away your happiness and your zeal to go in and live. So I try to be okay with whatever I get. Not that you can just step all over me. No, oh honey, no. I am a power light. If you be saying stuff and you be doing stuff that I feel like are not the stuff that I want, somebody's walking on. I take life as is, but I still understand that I've got values and and you to follow them, you know. But stuff like marriage are not stuff that you can decide on your own. These are stuff that you can decide with somebody else. You can decide with somebody else you've decided to pair with. These are not decisions you can make entirely on yourself and pressurize other people, you know. Yeah. So, the other thing I want to talk about is marriage ceremonies. Oh my god. Marriage ceremonies are so overrated. So overrated. Because I know a lot of people who've spent a lot of money on marriage ceremonies. Like this couple, listen, if I know you and you're gonna feel attacked by this, I'm sorry, but this has nothing to do with you. So I know two people, right? Okay, let me not say I know two people. Let me just say there's two people. There's him and her, right? And these two people don't own a car, don't own a house, don't have any investment anywhere, and they just living off their paychecks. Him wants to marry her. So him takes a loan, and his savings, and they celebrate their marriage. Love, kisses, smooches. They celebrate their marriage, and the marriage ceremony costs 100,000. I mean, are you insane? These two people don't even own a car. Bloody hell! Why are these two idiots using that loan to celebrate a marriage with people that don't even live with them? Like, honestly, it doesn't make sense for me. For me and my husband to be spending a lot of money to invite people to come eat. Half of the people at your wedding you don't even know. That's the honest truth. That's the honest truth. Like, I'll give you an example. I know only a handful of people in my circle. But I know if I say I want to get married today, hey, I'll have relatives I've never seen in my life. I'll have a lot of people that I don't even know who I'm asked to invite. Guys, that pressure is too much. Why are we spending money in marriages? I mean, honestly, if you can afford to take a loan for 100,000, why don't you take that money and regenerate it? You know, improve your marriage life with your wife. You know, stuff like that. Buy a car, dude. I don't want to be a wife that takes taxis. Like, honestly, not that I'm saying my husband should buy me a car, but such things should be the things that empower you. You know, you shouldn't be spending money on marriage ceremonies. Oh, guys, this is so annoying. I'm so annoyed right now. Anyways, if me and my man get married and my man decides to take a loan, honey, you ain't taking that loan to feed nobody. Seriously, we're just gonna sign Kohamalaud. I have it's 35 pula, right? 35, 70, I don't know, but it's less than 100, I think. Or less than 200, let me just say that. I don't know. But baby, you're not gonna take a loan to marry this ass. No. We're gonna take our savings, ne? A little nice package, ne? We're going to invest. I'm kidding. If me and my man get married, we're obviously not feeding everybody. That I'm not kidding about. I know a handful of people who would agree to just us going out, having a nice dinner, paying our 1.5, and then they leave, we go home, and then we take that 100,000, we travel. Because traveling is a girl's best friend. Yeah. Yeah, so, dude, I think it's ridiculous the amount of money you guys spend on weddings. It's incredibly insane. So, me and spending too much on feeding people I don't know, separate. We're not in the same WhatsApp group, I'm sorry. So, my one big advice is think ahead. Think of the next 2 years of your marriage life. Because someone once told me that where there is lack of something, people fight. But where there is sufficient supply of things, people get along. With that being said, if you're going to spend the greater part of your marriage repaying a loan which you cannot trace, that's going to take away the little joy that you're supposed to be feeling when you start your marriage life, you know. So if you really can't afford a marriage ceremony for 100,000 from your pocket, not from your loan or your credit score, no, your savings, it's debatable. I guess you can use that. It's just that my savings are for bigger things, bigger things. Like, yeah. Anyway, if you cannot afford a marriage ceremony with money from your pocket or your savings, don't do it. It's not worth it. It'll take you 2 years of fighting your husband because now you've got a limited supply of things. You've got to tone things down. But when you have kids, you still have to remember what ish. Kana, we took a loan for 100,000 so we can pitch the tents, hire chairs. Oh God, God, really. Whew. You guys. Anyways, guys, let me not depress you guys. Get married, spend your money, do the things that allow you to do the things, you know? Spend your money the way you feel best. But from me to you guys, don't spend unnecessarily. Money is important. So, until our next little chat, me and Teddy. Oh, wait. My friend asked me a question about Teddy, and I said I'd answer on this video. So the deal with Teddy is Teddy was a gift from somebody who holds a very special place in my heart, and whenever I'm with Teddy, I feel happier. I feel a lot of confidence because that wonderful person gives me all of those things, and Teddy being around is the best thing for me. So, unless I've got any live people, okay, that sounds funny. Unless I've invited other people to sit in on my little chats, it's just going to be me and my buddy, right? So, from me and Teddy signing out, love and light.